I'm now going to declare the Board of Trustees back in open session. For the record, the time is 7 p.m. We actually came out of executive session at 6:35. While in executive session, no final action, final decisions, or final votes were taken. If you'll stand, please, for the pledges and prayer. Place the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you so much for the day that you've given us. And Father, we thank you for this time where we can gather together to honor our students and honor our staff for the great jobs that they've done this year as we've started out the school year. Father, we pray for safety for our staff, our teachers, everybody that helps make this organization what it is. Father, we pray for our nurses and doctors and all of our healthcare professionals that have worked tirelessly during this time to help our community. Father, we thank you for them. Father, we pray for wisdom tonight as we make decisions that impact our school district. Father, just let us have clarity of vision. And Father, let everything that is said and done here be pleasing in your sight as we work to serve the children here in our district. We ask this in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
On behalf of the entire Mineola ISD Board of Trustees and our Superintendent, I want to welcome each of you to our meeting tonight. First item on the agenda is the Superintendent's report. Mr. Mize.
Mr. President, members of the board, community guests that are here with us tonight, Wednesday will mark officially 6 weeks of school since August the 11th, our first day of instruction. Time is really flying by, and we're very proud of all of our staff, all of our students in our community. I think people sometimes fail to remember that our pandemic started in March of 2020, but our area has seen the highest levels of COVID since the pandemic began as we started this school year. And so thank you for your resiliency. Thank you for trusting our staff to keep our kids safe. And we've been able to keep the school doors open, keep educating kids. We know that's important for our economy and for our children. So thank y'all for trusting our district. Our enrollment numbers, they continue to remain strong. When we finished the school year last year, we had 1,575 kids that were enrolled in Mineola ISD. As of today, we've got 1,632. So numbers are up, and attendance, and this is the case all across the state. If you took away COVID during the first 6 weeks of school, 97% would be a pretty strong attendance rate, what you would see. Today, we just hit the 94% mark. So that's not only in our district, but that's districts across the state. Matter of fact, I was on a call with several superintendents this afternoon. One district experienced about a 9% dip from what they typically were at. And so it varies from state to, or place to place in our state, but we've certainly seen those attendance numbers struggle to get where they normally were before all of COVID started. At the end of this last week, we received some great news about Mineola Elementary School, and I wanted to share that with you guys this evening. There was a piece of legislation called Senate Bill 1365 that was worked on during this last legislative session that everybody knows we paused accountability during this time. All the districts received a not rated, but that didn't mean that we weren't taking STAR tests and we weren't seeing where those numbers were falling. And our elementary campus, they had to meet a requirement of 95% of our kids that were on that campus, they had to take a test. We had 99% of ours participate in a test. And they scored well enough to be able to receive an acceptable rating even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. Now, if you remember back to 2018, 2019, that's the last time we had an accountability system. The elementary campus was struggling. They had an F campus. Now they're out of that. And so that is big news. And that's a big congratulations to Brittany Thompson, to Angela Shine, to Carrie Gonzalez, all of the teachers and support staff that help make up the elementary campus. Outstanding job by our staff and by our students. ISTEA, I said, I want to know the numbers behind that because there were 1,000 campuses in the state, a little over 1,000 campuses that were in the same boat that we were. How many of them did well enough during the 2021 school year in the middle of the pandemic? how many of them did well enough to get out of that? And there were less than 100. So those odds, those statistics, that is a pretty incredible job of what's taking place at our elementary campus, and we're very proud of them, and we're proud to report.
Say a few words.
Listen, I will just say, like, I appreciate it. It's truly the teachers. They worked endlessly with those students, and I've got one of them in here right now that can attest to it. It was a lot of work, and we couldn't have done it without them. They just did such an awesome job, and the parents and community supported us through it. So I'm just so grateful to have such an awesome team. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Next month, we'll have several large ticket budget items that'll be coming up on the October agenda. You remember all the ESSER money that we've been talking about, the federal grant money that's been coming down. So we've had qualifications approved for HVAC replacements in the district and flooring. And so we put out requests for qualifications for that, and that will be going out. We'll be meeting with vendors and taking bids for that scope of work to be done in the district. And that's all a part of our ESSER plan. Also in October, we'll be having our district and campus improvement plans, and also working towards our strategic planning sessions as we continue to work on our long-range plan for vision, mission statement, and belief statements in the district. So that's what we've got going on.
Thank you. Recognitions?
Ms. Ray, y'all ready?
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to announce the Mineola Primary School Students of the Month, Mr. Casey Nance and Miss Valerie Marquez. Valerie is a second grader in Mrs. Sauer and Mrs. White's classroom, and she is the daughter of Gabriel and Christina Marquez over here. She is an exceptional leader, someone that you will always see doing the right thing and that you know is doing the right thing when no one is looking. So we are so happy to have her in that leadership on our campus. Friendly to everyone, always the first to volunteer for a task. You know you can give her something and she'll make it to the office and back to her class with no problems. She is one to watch as she grows and shines as she gets older. And I'll tell you, we got to watch her Saturday at our Jackets for Jace 1 mile and 5K. And she not only did the 1 mile, she turned around and did the 5K and helped others finish that as well. So we are happy to have her as one of our students of the month. And Mr. Casey Nance here is also a second grader in Mrs. White and Mrs. Sauer's classroom. He's the son of Eric and Jana Nance right back here. He is one that will always lead you in the right direction. If you're not sure what to do, he's your man. Ask him. He will get you there. He will help you with your decision. Always has a smile on his face, gives 110% of himself to every single thing that he does. And when he's not at school, one of his happy places is the outdoors. You'll probably catch him one day on the rodeo circuit because he loves it. So it's my privilege to have Casey and Valerie here as students of the month. Y'all stand right there.
Don't be shy.
Thank you.
See, I didn't make
Well, we are so grateful to Miss Ray for sending us such a great group of third graders this year. They are just awesome. So we have a couple of third grader all-stars today. We have Miss Sori Doe and Mr. Nicholas Sullivan. So Sori's in Miss Richardson's class, and she said she loves Sori because she listens well and learns quickly, and she is always willing to help her fellow classmates when they don't understand something. She includes others and always makes friends and makes everyone feel a part of the team. So we are so proud of Sori. And Nicholas's teacher is Miss Hodges, and she says that Nicholas is willing to put in hard work and not just come to school for the social activities, even though he likes to be involved in that. She said that he follows their social contract that they wrote together as a class and especially shows respect to everyone in his classroom. So we are so proud to represent our school with Miss Sori and Mr. Nicholas. Stand together. Stand together, Nicholas. All right. Good job.
Hello, everyone. Come close to me, babe. This is Paisley Hall. She's represented today by her parents. This is Melinda and Leslie Hall. Her teachers nominated her because she is the model of a responsible student. She advocates for herself and her learning, and she continually looks for ways to help others. Paisley's favorite subject is math, and she definitely wants to attend college, but she's not quite sure where yet. She has plenty of time to figure that out. And she loves to paint and play video games and soccer. So we're very proud of Paisley. She's a super sweet girl. And then Nicholas Solano is not here. His teachers chose him because he is a dedicated worker with a great attitude. He continually strives to learn, and when talking with Nicholas, he also loves math. I'm disappointed he's not here because he wants to be a future ag, so we want to celebrate that. He's interested in going into the medical field, and he enjoys taking care of his dogs and his chickens. So that is Nicholas and Paisley, and we're proud to have them as our representatives.
All right, I've got a couple of super seniors to introduce to you tonight. Senior Luz Tenejero and Senior Christian Martinez. Luz couldn't be with us tonight. She's home ill. But I'm going to tell you about her anyway. She participates every Friday as a student trainer for our varsity football team. She's involved in organizations on campus such as Student Council, where she is our treasurer, and the Anchor Club, where she serves as the senior director. Upon graduation, Luz plans to attend TJC and hopes to be accepted into their medical sonography program, earning her AAS certification. When she's not at school, she enjoys reading, painting, and feeding her cows. Christian Martinez is here with us tonight. If you like football, then you'll see him on Friday nights because he is our kicker on Friday night. He's also involved in international football as the captain of our varsity soccer team here at Mineola High School. He'd tell you that's the real football. He participates in FFA, where he shows cattle. He plans to attend Tarleton State University upon graduation and major in animal science. When Christian's not at school, his sister told me that he enjoys playing soccer, working with his show steer, and spending time with family. Proud of you. Luz Tenejero and Christian Martinez.
She here? Okay. Oh,
Mr. Myers? He's out here. He's out here?
They're coming.
Charlie, I told this story on him. Actually, I shared this out on Facebook, but when I was coming to school as a kindergartner here, this man was coming to work here at Mineola ISD. And he has been here for a long time. And, you know, there's some people that when they get ready to retire, they're hard to replace because they know everything about the district. I asked Charlie the other day when we had an opportunity to visit, I said, how did you learn how to do all the stuff that you learned how to do? And what he said was very profound to me. He said this, he said, when people would come out to work on air conditioners or work on water lines or do whatever needed to be done in the district, when he was brand new here, he would tag along right with those guys and watch and learn from them. And he said over time, he said, I got so knowledgeable about everything that was going on, we didn't have to call those vendors out anymore because I could do most of the work ourselves. And I thought that's pretty amazing. But this man right here, he has put a lot of time into Mineola ISD. He's been an asset to our district, and he's done so mostly behind the scenes. Our kids may know him from driving a bus, but these are the type of guys that make this district work. They're behind the scenes, working day in and day out, so that our kids can have good, safe facilities to come to school in, to be educated in. And he's retired now, but I thought he was worthy to come back and be our support staff of the month for the month of September, Mr. Charlie Myers.
I sure appreciate it. A lot of years in this place. It's still like home.
And we got you on speed dial too. I know they already told me they were calling you on speed dial.
Exactly. Thank you.
There's a consultant fee.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Raquel?
That's right.
Hello again. It is my privilege to announce Raquel Palma as the MISD Teacher of the Month. Little fun fact, looking around this room right now, there are, I think, 4 of your students in here. Raise your hand if you had Miss Palma. Sorry, Valerie, yeah. So several of these students of the month started off with her in kindergarten. So that's a true testament to what she helped start with our Little Jackets. She's currently a kindergarten student, but has it's not student. One day you'll graduate from kindergarten. But she did graduate from Head Start and moved to kindergarten in her 15th year of teaching. And some words from her coworkers. She is very deserving of Teacher of the Month because she is a loving teacher who, despite her quiet, unassuming demeanor, has excellent classroom management, does a wonderful job of differentiating for a group of students with a wide spectrum of abilities and needs, maintains a positive attitude at all times, and is efficient and organized. She takes on any challenge, meets it head on, and accomplishes what needs to be accomplished, and we all see that each and every day. We're blessed, and we stand in wonderment of her talents. So, Mrs. Raquel Palma.
Thank you.
Get a smile, Raquel.
So, that's it? Okay. Thank you all so much. It's your time to make a break for it before we get into the rest of the meeting. You're welcome to stay, but this is, thanks. Thanks for coming. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Item G on the agenda is to consider information and action items discussed in executive session. There were none, so we'll move on to item H. Information items. Mr. Bjork, the financial report.
This is the financial report for the month of August and also for the end of the 2021 school year. You can see on the report, we ended up on line 1078 with $7.6 million as our ending cash balance. Barring any alterations our auditors might make when they come see us this fall. But the very next page I redid for y'all, we talked about that on August 31st. We did the final report. There it is. It's tiny enough that we can all see it. I've got the cash listed that we took in, the cash that we took out. What we owe TEA changed from the last time we met from August 31st from $202,000 to $92,000. And we balance for the same cash figure, the $7.6 million. But once we pay TEA back, because we actually had that money that they've overpaid us, we're going to wind up with $7.5 million. Remember, we started the year with $8.3 million. Theoretically, with that band project of $1.8 million, we should not have $7.5 million. We should have 6.5. So we achieved well this year. Does anybody have any questions? tax report turned out well too. This doesn't happen every year. We were 97% collected on our current taxes, and TEN, we report the amount of taxes we collect. Let's just add our current and our delinquents together. Once we add the delinquents together, we went over 100% collected. So that was a good number to hit in a COVID year. Compared it to last year, it's almost a whole percent up.
Well,
I don't ever remember it being over 100%.
I know.
I mean,
It's
on
rare
all
for
these,
it to happen.
I don't ever remember it.
what could it go to with delinquent?
What caused more delinquents to be?
What could it go up to? Or is that the cap?
The 100?
The 100.39?
No, we actually report what it actually is.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go over 100.
Okay,
You know, it's not a lot, like it's 133%.
yeah.
But you actually report what it is, no matter, because, you know, theoretically, we could have collected 100 just in current.
Right.
You know, I've never seen that one ever happen. Usually it's always 97 to 98 somewhere.
Because that's what you usually build the budget on, at that percentage. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Questions? Thanks.
And the enrollment report, really, Mr. Mize has already given you all.
He stole your thunder.
Darn. Oh, we need it again. 93.7. Up 30 students.
So being this pandemic, is TEA still cutting us on funding if we don't have that certain percentage here? No, we get paid for when kids are in class. I mean, are we getting cut because of COVID, or are we getting exempt?
Well, you know, they did that hose harmless this year, so we're gonna see how that pans out. Because at some point in time, they're gonna put our actual totals in there. But I don't know that they're gonna hold it against us.
Okay.
I was on a call with the commissioner this afternoon. I think he's seeing, because he asked specifically about what's your enrollment data, what's your attendance percentages, and he has heard the same stuff from lots of people. And so I think they're gonna make some adjustments there. I don't see how they wouldn't be able to.
All right, thanks. I don't think anyone signed up for public forum. No? Okay. Moving on to J, action items. Item J1 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the regular board meeting held on August 16th, the special board meetings held on August 31st, September 7th, and September 8th?
I'll move.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. McGowan. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. J2 on the agenda is new and unfinished action item. The first one is to consider and take action on interlocal agreement for RTI Data Specialist Partnership position with Winona ISD.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, this is for Ms. Kelly Blaylock's contract that we have with them. She's an RTI data specialist accountability. She does a fantastic job of gathering our data, calculating that, getting that information out to principals and myself included to make sure that we really stay on top of what's going on accountability wise. Even though we didn't have a rating, that's how we were able to provide that information where we knew where we were going to be if there was accountability for this year. And so we partner, there's several school districts. She works for Winona ISD, but I know that Union Grove, Whitman, ARP, and there may be one other district in Winona. We all partner together to help fund her salary. And so she's a very important piece to what we do accountability wise here.
Is there a motion to approve that position with Winona?
So moved.
Ms. Roddick, seconded by Mr. Ballard. All those in favor? Thank you. Discuss and take action on the emergency shelter agreement with Autumn Wind Assisted Living.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, we received a request from Autumn Wind Assisted Living Facility that in the event of a catastrophe or an emergency, that we would as a district transport their residents and also provide a place that our facility could be used for a shelter for them in case they had any type of catastrophic event. I think that's it's being a good neighbor and folks that we would certainly want to help out if there was a disaster type situation, to help those folks in our community.
Comments? A motion to approve that? Mr. Dossett, seconded by Mr. Ballard. All those in favor? Thanks. Take action on a resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H organization.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, this is a yearly resolution that the 4-H organization puts forth before boards all across the state of Texas to qualify their events as extracurricular activities for our kids. And so if our students are involved in 4-H and they do have to miss school to participate in an event that's being held by 4-H, that counts for an extracurricular activity. I think that's been a continued practice here, and
I think so.
recommend that we continue to do that.
Motion by Mrs. Roddick,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. McGowan. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thanks. To consider and take action on the adjunct faculty agreement with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Services employees Angie Monk and Emily Hussman.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, this is simply an extension of that resolution to count 4-H as an extracurricular activity. The faculty that would be working with those students are our Ag Extension Agency. Both of those individuals, Ms. Monk and Ms. Hussman, they both have degrees, and they are capable of teaching our kids and supervising those kids, and so they serve in that role of adjunct faculty, and recommend that we grant that authority to them as well.
Is there a motion to approve that agreement? Mr. Ballard, seconded by Mrs. Campbell. All those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Mize, the scope of work contract with Perry Thompson.
I appreciate Mr. Thompson being here tonight. We have continued to have conversations with our advisory council, taking a look at facilities. We were able to have our first meeting where he went over all the information that was showed to the board as far as a facilities use agreement, or not a facilities use agreement, but a facility study as far as what that was conducting. We're gonna have a follow-up meeting with those folks again on the 27th. And so we appreciate Perry just kind of going above and beyond and continuing to help advise that group, answer questions for us. And so this is part of that contractual agreement to be able to do that for us.
He gonna discuss it, or you?
Perry, would you like to talk about some of the scope of the work and
Be more than happy.
answer any questions that the board may have?
Be more than happy to. Again, Perry Thompson. I have worked with the district, obviously on the band hall, which I really appreciate that opportunity, and we feel very confident that that's going to help the continue such a great program you guys have here. In the facilities assessment report that we provided to the board, we also had a facility condition index, and as you know, we went through all of that. We've had a meeting with the board and the community leaders that Cody was did so well bringing everyone in. We want to continue to help further that. There are some questions that we want to facilitate and go into depth and specifically look at some certain areas that possibly we can fine tune that at this point in time. There's a lot of things in the district that there are some safety concerns. Obviously, we want to make sure we meet our TEA requirements and then assess the needs of each grade and then the wants after that. But certainly those items, safety, TEA requirements, needs and wants is where we want to head to. Right now, we're hitting the tops of that, and we'd like to go in depth with that and get input from the community and input from the board as well. So that's where we're intend on going with it. Questions? Be more than happy to do my best to answer.
Maybe about follow-up, any cost? I know we're going to try to get that information together too. And then
Yes.
I know we talked also about the Pacific panels. Any cost ideas on some of those items? as
We've
far
been
as
looking through
consideration?
some square footage costs, working it in that direction. We've also looked at some renovation costs. Square footage costs, we've been finding and tracking that. That's around $375 a square foot right now. Utilities, roadways, parking lots, so on and so forth included in that. And then renovation costs could be anywhere from, depending on the issues with the particular facility, could be anywhere from $200 a square foot to $275. Most of what we're seeing is at $225. Now, what we've seen lately and had quite a bit of discussion with Wes over at Sherrill Construction for the last, 3 or 4 months, we're seeing some of that come down. So we're adjusting some of those downward. but we'll continue to monitor that as we go. It's a little early to give total square footages that we know we're gonna renovate or take care of, because we really don't know what our assessments are gonna be, what the advisory board's gonna bring back to us as those needs. So, right now, we're looking at about, I think it's 63 or 65,000 square feet if we looked at a new elementary school. But certainly, we've got work that we need to do on the existing elementary school. We've got work at the middle school we need to take care of. So that's gonna be a sliding scale to make sure we touch all of the bases and not leave anybody.
Any idea on those costs on the panels? Y'all looked at that
Those
specifically?
electrical panels?
The electrical panels themselves, yes. I had talked with a couple of electricians about that. Depending on the nature and the in-depthness of the actual electrical grid for that, could be $20,000 to $40,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, expensive.
So, I think when we met the last time, I was curious about what the cost to do a middle school
Mhm.
instead of an elementary school.
Right.
Do you have any of those numbers on what it would be, or is it about the same?
It's about the same per square foot cost. And remember, that includes, again, parking and utilities. So it's roughly the same. We did investigate, the thing about the middle schools is that you do have the playgrounds and such. The issue is with the elementary schools, you have playgrounds and such. With the middle schools, you have to worry about the track and field and those particular scenarios. So there's not as much as you would think a difference in cost, if that's what you're asking. So, because they're not, first-rate high school
Well, I
facilities.
say, I know they would use the same track,
Mhm.
anyway.
Exactly. So, but because of the fact that we have square footage costs per student, if you will, broken down, it's the number of students that you put in the classrooms as well, because that changes as grades.
I think a lot of the grades are about the same, the number of kids per campus
Per
is pretty
campus,
close.
it's pretty even.
So,
It is.
size of campus being, and cost of campus being about the same, size of classes being about the same.
Right.
It'd be whether you redid it elementary or redid a middle school for
Mm.
me.
And when you talk about renovation versus new, renovation, a newer, say the middle school is a much newer school. So any type of renovation in that's going to be a lot less than an older school, such as the elementary. And so that's a big issue in the overall scope. And we're looking at that. We address that. I feel like we're addressing that pretty well as we're tracking these pricing moving forward, because the elementary school's got some major issues with it, as we've discussed, piping, so on and so forth. So, does that help?
So the agreement is just generic?
That is correct.
It's not on any land or any kind of
That's correct. It's
facility?
just direct.
Just generic to,
It's just an hourly rate to
As-
get the district to, a
Where we
lot
can
of
make a
these.
decision.
Right, meeting with the advisory councils,
Yeah.
putting together proposals and scopes, that type of stuff.
could be. Any other discussion? Is there a motion to approve that, the contract as presented?
I'll move.
Mr. McGowan, seconded by Mrs. Roddick. All those in favor? Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Consider and take action on resolution regarding local remote learning program as provided in Senate Bill 15.
Dr. Abbott, this is the piece of legislation that we had been waiting on to see if at the legislative session, if they were going to take this item up or not. But Senate Bill 15 deals specifically with remote learning opportunities. And so they've established a lot of criteria to that. Your district had to be a C-rated district or better to be able to participate. There's all kinds of requirements that even drill down to the exact kid. Like, for example, during the 20 and 21 school year, if that kid was 50% of the time or 51% of the time virtual, they could not participate in a virtual learning component this year. And so this is going to help us immensely as we deal with kids moving in and out of the district for COVID-related situations. Maybe they're quarantining in their homes. This allows them the opportunity to keep up with their work. We've already taken action on an asynchronous learning plan, and this is why Canvas has been so important for us. We've got that system out there. So our kids, let's say if you have COVID and you've got symptoms for 3 days and then you start feeling better, you've got an opportunity to log on and get caught up on your work and stay up to date, and we get funding for that. Or let's just say that a parent makes a decision and says, hey, listen, we can't quarantine one person in the house. We've got to quarantine because of our living situation. We got to quarantine all together. that allows those students to be able to keep caught up by being able to do that. The other requirement is you can't have more than 10% of your student population doing that. And so there's lots of requirements to it, but it is that vehicle that gives us the opportunity to recover some funding for them. And so we think that's important. We think it's a worthy idea to pursue this, and I would recommend to the board tonight to be able to pass that resolution to give us those options to build this out.
Comments?
I know Camden has recently had COVID, and we just went through that.
Yeah.
And when he started feeling better, I was like, okay, you got to be sure to log into your Canvas, like every class. Did you log in? Did you log in? Did you
Yeah.
log in? Because it, you know, and I was like, well, then he's not counted absent, and we still get the funding.
Yes.
So,
And the great thing is, and we kind of took a little bit of a risk with this. We just, kind of coded our kids in a certain way where we said, hey, let's mark them. If they're showing progress in that, let's mark them because we think this piece of legislation's coming. Well, it got passed, and sure enough, in the rules, what they say is you can go back and from the beginning of school, you can mark those kids present that if they engage remotely in your learning management system. So that's big for us, and that'll be a big help for us. So.
Did we vote?
no, we haven't yet.
Oh, good. We have a motion.
I moved.
You made the motion? Or
Second.
all right, and this is right, okay.
Everybody raise your hand.
You write down that,
Okay,
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, Mr. Bjork.
We've got another piece of property that's come up on 116 Lander Street that we have a high bid of $3,500 for. The value of the appraisal district is $2,320. There's close to $20,000 in taxes owed for quite a number of years. That's gonna keep growing and we won't get that ever. But if we go ahead and put it back on the books, at least we'll start getting some taxes off from the new owner.
I'm in.
I move to accept the bid.
Okay. Ms.
I'll
Wright
second.
moved, seconded by Mr. Ballard. All those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Mize, to consider and take action on Sherrill Construction proposed change order for Mineola Band Hall.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, this is a proposed change order that has to do with cabinetry in our fine arts facility and in our band hall. And as you complete these projects out, things that teachers need, things that they have a desire for storage and spaces to be able to put that stuff. This is the quote that was given us to Sherrill Construction to help finish this out. And so I'd highly recommend that we put these things in place, or we're gonna have to track them down on independent vendors and no telling how long this might last to be able to do this. So really kind of as an effort to finalize it out and get it done.
25,000.
26.
Was this stuff that wasn't planned or what?
Just not planned as they did construction, just things that, to finish out rooms that needs to be done as far as cabinetry goes into classrooms and storage space.
Wouldn't that have been on the original bid?
No, probably not. No. Not if you just build it out. You're just building the building. Some of those added features to it, yeah, you're probably not gonna get everything in there.
I think these were added after they moved into it and realized that
That they have a
did
need.
Yeah,
not-
we
they
need
did not store it.
this. Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we need to get this.
I think it was after that walkthrough when they
Yeah,
realized,
it
I wish
was.
we'd have done this, I wish we'd have done
Yeah.
that.
I'll move to
Is there,
accept.
okay,
Second.
is there a motion? And second, a motion by Mrs. Campbell, seconded by Ms. Roddick. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. And item J2I, discuss, consider, and take action on a traveling trailer for Mineola High School Ag program.
Dr. Abbott, members of the board, I appreciate Mr. Warnicki being here tonight to talk to us about some of the needs of their program, just the pace that the animal side, the show side, and what that has grown at. And they've got a severe need for transportation of hogs and different livestock animals. And so I wanted him to be able to talk a little bit about the growth that's happening in that program, and then have consideration of the bid that's before us tonight.
Thank Members of the board, thank you all for having me here. And yes, ag teachers do wear ties. Thanks to my boss here, Just for Success on Monday. Just wanted to show that off. Right, boss? Yes, sir. Thank you, appreciate that. At least I'm matching. I wanted to give a big shout out to my teaching partners, Ms. Martinez, Ms. Garrett, Mr. Roger that couldn't be here tonight, and our members of our FFA program make a great team. And because of that team, I think that the numbers that you're going to see tonight that I'm going to talk about reflect of what kind of team we have here at Mineola FA. As you can tell, the document that I gave every board member is just starting with our junior FA membership and our senior FA membership. When I got here in 2019, our junior FFA membership was at 10 members. Last year it grew to 18, and currently we're still signing people up. We have 33 junior FA members, consisting of elementary, not junior high, just elementary. Now there are a couple 6th and 7th graders in there, but mainly all of our 8th grade are in the senior program now. And that is why our numbers skyrocketed so much on our senior membership. So our senior membership was 251 when I got here in 2019, 301 in 2020, and now we're at 375 FA members. One of the largest in the state and growing. And then I also submitted all of the animals that we have in our program right now that is growing. Our steers were 7 in 2019, 7 in 2020, and now 11. I can go down each one, but each one except the dairy heifers has a growth. And the dairy heifers will have a growth. We're just signing up right now. Our program is growing, which is great. And I'm a type of guy that requests things that we need, not wants. But I did also share on this list of needs and wants, just to give y'all the future goals that we have in our program. And so I know one of the needs that we discussed right now is the trailer, but the number one need that I have on my list is a diesel truck. Our current truck is a 2009 gasoline engine, dually two-wheel drive that does a pretty good job, but has struggles pulling bigger trailers that we also currently have in inventory right now. We have aluminum cattle trailer that is incredible. I don't know how old it is, Mr. Dossett, but I believe y'all, the Hay Show purchased it, and it does a great job, and I foresee that trailer being with us for a long time. So we'd like to have another aluminum trailer that houses our hogs and our goats and lambs. As you can tell on that list, our pig numbers were 14 in 2009, 19 in 2020. It was 19, and currently we have 27 hogs on our list, and we're still signing kids up. The hog trailer that we currently have is my personal trailer, and it fits 6 hogs in the trailer. In the last 2 years, we've been using my family's trailer to help Mineola, which we're gracious to do, but 6 hogs just doesn't cut it for all of our kids to go to shows, jackpot shows. We can haul all of our cattle jackpot shows, and we currently are, with the help of our community. Mr. D.T. Arney has his trailer, and we have our cattle trailer. So we are using community support with my personal trailer and Mr. Arney's trailer, and then the current inventory that we have. We're also limited on the vehicles because we have 4 ag teachers now, and we only have 1 ag truck. And we hate to ask for the vehicles because a lot of times the vehicles are being used for other sporting events or band, and we don't want to take those away from those folks. So that's currently where we're at right now. I don't ask for action to be taken tonight. I just wanted to be proactive and show our program, our growth, and let y'all make the decision on where we're at and when we can do that. Going down, the Mineola FFA Ag Department needs, like I said, I have 1 as the ag truck, number 2, the 28-foot aluminum small animal trailer, number 3, remodel the hog barn. We have currently 9 concrete pens and 4 dirt pens. That's 13 pens for hogs, and we have 27 signed up. Out of the 27, 4 will be raised at their house. A lot of the hogs are new growth, new members. Number 4 is restrooms at the show barn. Every time we have a show, every time we have an event, which we're trying to host at least 3 shows now at our facilities, we have no restrooms. We have to rent porta pots every time we have an event there. And I use the facilities every day for instruction. I take the kids there. I say every day, every other day, we do lecture in the class, and then we walk to the farm to work with the animals, give shots, hoof trim. We just got done with the cattle hoof trim. We just took goats to get dehorned today, our last one, and kids went on that trip. And so they are involved with the animals on a regular basis. Our show barn is old, and there are a couple of posts that are actually not even connected to the barn in the ground anymore. And so our support beams are starting to break and get old. And so that's something that we need to look at as well in the future. Number 6 is more of a CTE, bigger welding shop and paint booth that Mr. Rogers would like me to talk about just a little. Fabrication is something that we are pushing hard now in Mineola, and floor space is limited with fabrication of our shop. And I did also request the cameras to be located at the barns, and I believe we're working on it this year. Number 8 is a large greenhouse. We can't offer any horticulture classes because we really don't have a greenhouse. I did buy a little 6x8 greenhouse, just a starter. Myself, Miss Martyr, she's the biology teacher. She also ordered a greenhouse just like ours, so we have 2 little ones to see how the need here in the community for a greenhouse. And if it's there, I'll be happy to report back to you on how that's working. And then, of course, our wants. We have a floor cooler that Miss Martinez has, but she would always like another one right next to it. Our floor department is growing. It's an amazing department. That's all she does now is teaches all the floor classes. I have all the animal science classes. Mr. Rogers has all the welding classes, and Miss Garrett has the principles of ag and some other subject classes. You know, I also teach the wildlife, but she helps me with some of the animal science as well. Number 2, the portable digital cattle scale. We're currently using my personal one. It's portable, it's easy, and we're using that right now. We're making do with the one I have personally. Number 3 is the portable digital small animal scale. We have 2 pulse scales that work very well, but they're very heavy. It would be nice to take some digital scales with us at shows to watch their weight. And last but not least, the walk-in freezer. We're limited. We're not able to do the meat fundraiser this year for 2 reasons. The product went really high, and I would like to do a lot of that in-house and get with you and see if we can bring that back somehow, but we need to be able to store it. And so that's something in the future we would like to look at on maybe Meats Lab, walk-in freezer, and offer that in our community. So I think that's a big need to provide that type of curriculum to our kids, because there's some good jobs out there right now. So we're growing. It's great, and we love your support. We appreciate your support. We know we have it, but that's why I'm here today, just to be proactive and tell you what's going on our department. While I have the floor, I would like to say a big thanks to our administration at the high school, our staff. They're incredible. It's an incredible place to work at the Mineola High School, and my family and I are proud to call us home. So thank you so much. Any questions for me?
I don't know if it's a question, other than somebody dropped the ball, I think. And if we did, then I apologize. But, you know, a month after budget, and it's like, whoa, we didn't do you right, or we didn't know. And I can't stress enough how transparent we try to be with needs and all that. And I thought we were coming to a party tonight to vote on a trailer, and didn't know there were 12 things that we probably that we need to consider.
I didn't expect the growth either. I had a vision, but it's amazing what's happening in our department.
Yeah.
And another thing too I like to point out is our staff, we're very humble, and we try to make do with what we have. And I think we've proved that the last couple of years is to make do with what we got, because we try not to be big spenders in our department. And we work real well with Mr. Bjork, and we don't ask for a lot. But the time that we do, we're up here and given the time to showcase what we have.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it's transparent.
Sure.
And what things I think we're going to need,
Yeah.
especially with the numbers. Mm-hmm. I'm a big numbers guy, and that speaks volume of where it's going. I do want to also mention I did not include our numbers for LDEs, CDEs, speaking events, science fair projects, calf scramblers this year, floor cup contests, talent team, and we have area and district officer numbers. I mean, we're very well diverse, and that's our goal for FFA, is to be diverse, be able to offer everything that FFA has to offer for every kid here. And we're even going outside the box. We're now, the FFA is kind of hosting our fishing team now.
Mhm.
So we've taken part of that, and we also would like to host and be part of the state barbecue cooking contest in the future. So we're here for the kids, and we work 12 months out of the year, and all ag teachers are proud of that, and we never stop.
Okay. Well, looking at the list, some of the things as we get more into where we're headed as far as a building project, looking at some things, I think some of the things on the need list could be addressed then, as we look at, you know, what we're gonna build, what we're gonna do, campus-wide, you know, as far as the campus. Some of those things I think would be, if we did something for CTE, I think that would be included in that. So, the truck is a need, but the trailer's on the agenda.
Yes, sir. I almost support of tabling the motion and getting back at a later date to revisit this. But I will say the trailer's a need. It will be here. If we ordered it today, it would be here in February. That's how long it would take. It's a long time. That's the only problem. Our show's in March.
Yeah. Why would you table it?
Just to look at the possibility of just looking at this, make sure that I have my to-do list right or my order right. The 28-foot trailer is something that we do need. Truck is what we need as well. The concerns I have is if we get the trailer now, we don't have the truck to pull it.
Do we not have dualies in other spots? Up here at
Yeah, I
maintenance?
think-
I mean, I've seen
I think,
2 or
yeah.
3 of them run. I've seen the old ag truck running around.
Yeah, we've worked through all that. I think transportation wise, I mean, we'd be equipped to figure something out on that.
Yeah, Ms. Harding is, you know, the biggest conflict this time of the year is with band
Right.
and FFA.
Right.
And band pulls multiple trailers as well, so,
Yeah.
but just knowing the schedule, she tries her best to work out, compromise. I don't know if those are diesel, or those
Yes, sir.
diesels?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's just the whole thing with the.
So what you're gonna run into probably, or possibly, is if you've got Friday night or Saturday competitions after Friday night marching, because when is football over?
Hopefully the middle of December.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Whatever the state game is, I don't know what the date is. I mean, for the fall schedule, you could run into conflicting schedules with the vehicles, and then I guess in the spring possibly too, but in between then, you could use.
Fall would probably be tougher than spring,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Of course, conflict with schedule.
And the good news is if you're gracious enough to vote on this tonight, the trailer, it gives us time to look at a plan before it gets here in
See, that's what I
February.
thought. By what you said, if it is approved tonight and it's ordered, you have till February
Yes,
to
sir.
figure out how we're gonna pull it.
And I guess in the meantime, I can get with Sharon Transportation and come up with
Yeah.
a game plan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Warnick?
Oh, but that's what, I mean, didn't we have the ESSER funds that we had like a bus and a van or something? Some of that set out,
Oh, a bus and a van.
a bus and a van.
Yes, sir.
So is our van need bigger than our truck need, or
According
is
to
that
Ms.
something
Harding,
we?
the van is viable.
But is it? I mean, I'm not doubting what she said, but if you,
There's a bunch of Suburbans up there. and
if
I
you
don't know.
prioritize it, I mean, we know everybody's got a need. The band has a need, the regular transportation has a need, ag has a need. But let's prioritize it and say, what need is a little bit more.
Maybe
And-
when you hit that up.
Sure.
Yeah, we have to have something to pull with.
Any questions for me?
It didn't.
No, they hadn't been ordered.
No, I mean,
Oh.
the bus or the van. Have they been
Yeah,
ordered?
we'll visit. No, they haven't been.
Okay, that's what I said, unless they've already been ordered, and then
No,
that
no.
might not help at all, but.
There was a question that came up that could be disallowed, that's why we haven't done anything.
Vehicles would be disallowed?
It's
Oh,
right
from
on
ESSER?
the line of allowable uses.
Oh,
for
okay.
ESSER money.
Well, if they change the oil in the truck, then it would be like,
It'd
auto
be-
mechanics, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would build up.
That's
all
right.
mechanics. There you go.
I mean,
That's why he's wanting the pig trailer for social distancing the show pigs.
They have to have their own little cubbies. Gotta have their cubbies.
And ESSER money, just so you know, has to be tied to COVID.
Yeah, but,
So,
you know, the kid that couldn't go to show because he had COVID, so we got him a van, we got him a trailer. I could write that. Fix that problem. And also, don't be shy about asking.
Yes,
You
sir.
said you kinda hold back. Mm-mm. No,
Thank you.
we're,
what is it, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, or what is
Exactly.
it?
Exactly.
Like that.
I appreciate that. We try to be
I know
humble.
that didn't come
I
out
know.
just right, but you know what
I
I'm
know,
saying.
yeah, something about a squeaky wheel. Yeah, we appreciate the humbleness, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know. So
Yes, sir.
it's gonna be up to you to,
Yes, sir.
okay,
I appreciate you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So there is,
So do we have finances set aside right now, William, for a trailer anywhere in your magic?
This would just come out of our fund balance,
that extra million. We've got one million.
of which, you know, from what I told you a while ago, we have basically saved $1 million.
Yeah, that's
This
what
year,
we're talking.
because we should have wound up with 6.5 million, and wound up with 7.5. Of course, that was basically, were two things, the sale of the timber, and then the, money that I rent the counselor salaries through ESSER one, so I saved like $375,000 there. So that contributed to $1 million in savings.
Ms. Harding has, by the way, put out, feelers to several dealerships on how much a truck would cost, what kind of truck
Oh,
we
good.
would need, so.
Good.
She's trying to get that information together as well.
Great. Yeah. Is there a motion to?
I'll make the motion.
Which
I know,
one?
because I know what he needs, so.
I'll second it.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Four? Oh, okay, thanks. All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you. Kids support you, thank you.
All right. The purposes for which this meeting was called being completed, I declare this meeting adjourned.
I didn't know